what you abide by. Now, by the same token, if you said, well, 80% of my material can be foreign objects. That's in our spec. Well, the agency's going to say, no, that's not reasonable. That's adulterated. What is exactly the line? I'm not aware that they've ever specified or defined what that is.
Understand. In your experience, let's say a manufacturer comes back and says, our specification is 1% of our, like we allow up to 1%. I'm totally making this up. We allow percent of our released goods to have foreign objects.
Yeah.
Does that sound
I would,
or is that like is it like judgment?
It's going to depend, right? So if I'm providing bulk raw botanical material, plant material that's harvested from a farm and shipped to a consumer, right? You're going to have some foreign plant material in there. There's going to be weeds, right? And other things in there, right? And so in that circumstance, the allowance for foreign plant material is probably relatively high and perfectly benign, no issues whatsoever. If you're talking about, something like in this case, I think the allowance would be a lot less. If you're talking about a bottled product ready to eat, and it's subject to Part 111 good manufacturing practices, your allowance level is going to be a lot less. And it also depends, what are we talking about? Are we talking about, like you said, a large piece of plastic, or are you talking about metal shards, razor sharp metal shards? So I don't think you can set a percent limit across the board as a generality. It's got to be specific to the product that you're manufacturing.
Got it. Okay. So I'm just going to recap what I've heard from you. If the product hasn't shipped out, then obviously we're in a better shape. We should be looking at our SOP to abide by what our release criteria is. If an FDA inspector came and inspected product, they would likely, insert that this needs to be corrected. However, you feel that the FDA is less of a concern. It's more around consumer class actions lawsuit or a consumer adverse event or something like that. I think we discussed of quarter to half an inch. It's not a food safety issue, but it is. It could be an ingestion issue. It could be like a hazard. It's more of a hazard risk. And if this product were in commerce and the FDA inspected it and found it, they would likely recall the product or recommend stop shipping.
Yeah, that's correct. And what you might be able to do with inventory that hasn't gone out is you could rework it.
Right.
Because and that would also go per an SOP as well. But you have, it's not as though it was manufactured defectively or is contaminated.
Correct.
Right. You have a physical issue here that could be reworked if you have the means to do it, and that way you can salvage some of the inventory, because that's quite a bit to write off potentially if you don't ship it and then you got to destroy it all. It doesn't seem like it's that situation where the product needs to be destroyed.
No, because fortunately, if there's anything fortunate about this is like these are hard, visible, plastic material. It's not stuck to the gummies or anything. It's free flowing. And so it can be easily taken out from the 5-pound bags or whatever of the gummies. So it's not like it's not like a chemical or anything like that that's in the gummies.
Yeah.
And you said
monitor
your Go ahead.
I was going to say monitor your complaints that come in case anything has shipped. Is to monitor